Welcome to KocoSports. I am the huge one-kid idiot Dave Koco from Wrestle, a podcast here on YouTube KocoSports. I also stream on YouTube and Twitch. I haven't done a stream in a while, but I'll be returning. And this video is about Jake Lee. Jake Lee of Good Looking Guys of Pro Wrestling Noah has shown up in New Japan. It got me interested. It actually got me to bring up my New Japan world, which, by the way, I've not been a big fan of what New Japan has been doing lately. But it got me interested. It started off, I wish I was there live. It was at Corkin Hall. You had the Bullet Club War Dogs versus LIJ, best of 5 series. And you had Drilla Maloney versus Naito. And out comes shenanigans because the King of Sports now is 8,000 run-ins. And after the 8,476 run-ins, Jake Lee comes out. I was completely shocked. I saw him on Monday Magic. Last time I saw him, he was shaking hands with Kaito Kiyomiya, whispering, saying, "Hey, there you go." And he shows up on New Japan. And there was a lot of panic in my eyes and a lot of panic in there because Jake Lee's history with Pro Wrestling Noah is a very interesting one. He came in at a very bad time for the fan base. New Japan just swept Noah at Muda's last retirement. A lot of the Pro Wrestling Noah fans do not like working with New Japan, and that did not help the case. And from there, then we're like, all right, well, fucking Kaito Kiyomiya, we just got swept. Fucking hard times cry. What's the point? Mo money, mo spoilers was created. And then comes Jake Lee, who's seen as an outsider in All Japan, and just goes on a complete winning streak. And to say this hurt attendance, to say this hurt morale of the fan base, to say that it went from, wow, we are Noah, we can show the world, we don't need the New Japan guys. Oh, we're going to do the New Japan. Oh, we're going to get swept by New Japan guys. All right, well, we'll regroup. Fucking half their fan base is going to take some time off. God damn, son. And the rest are going to be like, we'll get behind Kaito Kiyomiya, we'll see what happens. Muda put him over. Oh, and here's Jake Lee. And then Jake Lee goes on a winning streak and attendance dips. And there's just pure hatred for this guy. Once again, I want to be clear. I don't blame Jake Lee. I blame the booking and the fact that New Japan just destroys any Japanese competition. But the crazy part is, Pro Wrestling Noah, Dragon Gate, All Japan, just let it happen. You ain't gonna fight for yourself. What's the point? So then you come into Kawasaki, which is a huge turning point. And that is the rock bottom for the Good Looking Guys and the We Are Noah movement. And Pro Wrestling Noah fans were so behind the heart and soul of Keno. And then they tried. Listen, I said this in an earlier video. I'll say it. Most companies would have cut the Good Looking Guys. Most companies would have got rid of Jake Lee. But they give the fans what they want with Keno, and they carefully watch where the belt goes from that point on. They're really going book out of the way like, hey, dude, we just don't want to piss you off. I got an idea. Let's put Ibushi in the main event. So they do not give up. They do not give up. They change stuff. They make stuff. The marketing. And Jake Lee, from that Kawasaki point, slowly works over the crowd. And now it's got to the point where we're telling a story. Kenny went over to Pro Wrestling Noah fans. People are cheering for him. People are cheering for the Good Looking Guys. They still get drowned out by hardcore fans chanting against them. But it went from, oh my God, what the fuck are you doing in this company, to we love to hate you. And he was just winning people over. The Monday Magic thing, the storyline is him, Kaito Kiyomiya, shaking hands. Absolutely fantastic. He shows up. I know a lot of people that used to be watching New Japan that stopped watching New Japan, tuned in, and skipped right to this match. And I think New Japan World knew that. They're either incompetent or evil geniuses. Because the Jake Lee, when it wasn't live, you had to like wait a day. All the matches were set except the Jake Lee match. And I'm like, all right. You're either incompetent or you're fucking an evil genius. Either way, it works in your favor. And people come in, check it and see Jake Lee there. I kind of wish I was at Corkin, but I don't think I could sit through House of Torture and pay for that shit. You might. I can't. So we see him. We're super excited. We're super nervous. He does go to Nagata. He tells people, hey, I'm Pro Wrestling Noah through and through. Gets a cheap pop, winning people over. So all he has to do is have a great showing. There's no way Ghetto would abuse Pro Wrestling Noah. So most of the match, which might have been a last second switch, because most of the match, Jake Lee isn't doing anything. And while I'm watching this, I know why I love New Japan athletes, but I also realize why I hate New Japan. It is not the athlete's fault. Is it because Okada left? Is it because Will Ospreay left? No, it's because of fucking Ghetto. Those athletes are fucking amazing, and they're wasting their fucking time. But don't worry, when it drops down, they'll fucking change it. So we're sitting there waiting. They have a 5-on-5 match, and I'm like, fuck yeah, they won't do them fucking dirty. I have to sit there and wait. I skipped the match. I'm gonna be completely honest. Skip the match till we get to the Jake Lee match. I'm interested to see what he has. Thank God it's not Ghetto. And he waits out a lot. They tease his finisher a lot. And then at the very end, it's him and Naito. He did get one elimination. It's him and Naito. And then it's just like, whoops, I slipped. I was like, for the love of fucking Christ. Just... So it should be interesting to see where it goes. They are also building matches all together. Some people are calling it Ghetto's orgy. So it'll be interesting. If Jake Lee actually got a victory, if Jake Lee actually fucking did something impressive, God forbid that this relationship benefits anyone but New Japan. This is how the power structure works. Tony Khan fucks Ghetto, and Ghetto fucks the rest of the country, and then they have something called All Together. No. Hopefully this will change. Hopefully Jake Lee does something great, because here's the thing. With Jake Lee being so close to being almost over and winning probably one of the harshest crowds, Pro Wrestling Noah not giving up on a talent that really got beaten up as far as Japan audience goes, and then turn it around. If he could just get a fucking victory and come back and be like, I was the one that fucking changed the tide, it would help Pro Wrestling Noah. And then when people like Will Ospreay come down and fight Marufuji, or when someone fucking comes down, Ishii comes down, or, it won't be a laughing stock. Like, ooh, New Japan's coming into town. All right, they win. More money, more spoilers. I'm always told by people in the back of New Japan, Noah, All Japan, give it time, it will play out. When? It's been like 2 fucking years. When's it playing out? Were all these companies working separately? Were they hurting? Everyone wants these guys to fucking work together. Here's the problem. If it's mo money, mo spoilers, it kills the momentum of all the companies. Will Ospreay versus Marufuji? Who didn't fucking know who was going to win that one? Who didn't know? Who fucking honestly did not know? This is Will Ospreay's fucking dream match, and it's fucking ruined by shitty booking. I'm hoping that this is leading somewhere. Most likely, it's going to lead to All Together, where New Japan has to basically, in Japan, you can't have New Japan versus Noah and expect people to show up. You can't have New Japan versus All Japan and expect people to show up. You can't have New Japan versus Dragon Gate to come up. It's one of those things. Either be by yourself or benefit. It was a 5-on-5 match. It did not fucking matter. Not one fucking bit. Naito loses that match let's just say Naito loses that match. It doesn't affect anything. Not a fucking soul. But at least you guys eat lemons. At least you stack tires. At least you have a fucking mascot. King of Sports. Jake Lee, I've hated, loved you, loved you, and everything in between. I'm begging people. They need to stop working together unless it benefits everybody. And New Japan fans are like, oh, that's kind of fucking harsh. Do you know the way you feel about Tony Khan? Thank you. Anyway, Jake Lee, fucking, you could have got over. You could have fucking got over. You could have been Pro Wrestling Noah's hero. But it didn't happen. Nothing changes. If fucking Naito loses that fucking match, hell, you can even have some bullshit cheating, because God forbid you have a wrestling match at the King of Sports. Have someone yank down the rope, get hit with a fucking thing, have him fucking go. It does not hurt your company at all. And you want us to buy all together tickets? Why? Noah fans outnumbered everyone. How did it benefit them? All Japan's hot as fuck. How does it benefit them? It is fucking bonkers at this point. It is bonkers. But I did joke that giving someone the title, them not being over, them working their way up, and then jumping shows, nothing's more Pro Wrestling Noah than that. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. And how do you feel about Jake Lee? Also, if you love everything, just say, everything is awesome. If you like, I hate everything. But if you're somewhere in between, tell me how you feeling about Jake Lee now. Are you like, fuck yeah? Are you like, yeah? And here's my thing. If you are a New Japan fan, and trust me, I'm a big New Japan fan. No one's been covering New Japan longer than me except Dave fucking Meltzer. If you're a New Japan fan and you think, yeah, I'm fucking overreacting, is there anything about that match that makes you interested in watching another company? And if you're like, no, All Japan, Dragon Gate, DDT, Noah, they're all fucking crying, I better not hear you say anything about Tony Khan. Have standards, have morals, and understand where you're coming from. Like, comment, subscribe! And with that, I am over. Hey, whoop.